Listen, two guys in 2 months made a small game called Meccha Chameleon and it sold 15 million copies. Yes, 15 million copies sold in its first month after the release. For comparison, Game of the Year of 2025 Clair Obscur sold only 8 million copies in 1 full year, so half of the sales in its first year after the release.
No way, this is crazy.
And I wanted to understand, how is this kind of success even possible with such a small game? Like, don't get me wrong, I love small games. I really like playing them. They are super easy to get into and you can actually finish them once you start. They're not like the 100-hour open world endless RPGs that you're never gonna finish, right? And as an indie dev, I know that I should aim for developing small scope games. So I analyzed what makes a small game successful, and I thought really hard about this, and I think I have something to share with you. By the end of this video, my fellow players and developers, both you and I, will be able to identify the next great small game to play or to develop. I picked a bunch of successful games, and I kept the variety as high as possible. Some are massive hits and some have more modest success. And there are multiplayer games, there are horror games, there are rage games, there are cozy games. It's a wild mix. But they have one thing in common. They were made by tiny teams in a short period of time. Okay, here's what we got. Meccha Chameleon, Bombanana. This one is not out yet, but its demo has blown up and I will come back to that, just remember. And Vampire Survivors, Megabonk, A Short Hike, Getting Over It, Exit 8, Iron Lung and Isles of Ash, so 9 games. I'm sure some of you have heard these games and even played some of them. If you did, let me know in the comments which one is your favorite and why. I'm genuinely curious to know. I mean, I did this whole research and I'm doing this video and I would like to know.
Tell me literally everything. Everyone, shut up!
But if you're too lazy to comment, just like and subscribe, okay? Thank you all. There's already good prior knowledge on how and why to make small games. If you're curious to learn more about these topics, I highly recommend checking out Indie Game Clinic after this video. He has a great video on subtractive game design. But I wanted to analyze and understand something different, the success factor. What actually makes small games sell well? And I was able to abstract 5 common factors that are shared by successful small indie games. And here's the key idea. These factors not only contribute to the success of these games, but also cancels out some of the risks that small games face. Keep this in mind as we go. Factor 1. One-sentence hook. Here are some examples right away. Climb a mountain with a man in a pot using only a hammer. Defuse bombs with your friends as 3 monkeys. Pilot a submarine through an ocean of blood. Escape a looping Japanese subway station by spotting anomalies. Hide by painting on your character like a chameleon. Combine abilities until you're OP, survive waves of enemies. Climb down into a pit with a grappling hook while being hunted down by a giant centipede. You see the pattern. Every one of these games can be pitched with one sentence. Since they are small in scope, they can fit into this one short sentence and create genuine interest. You read the description briefly, a YouTuber or a friend mentions it, and then you're instantly hooked. Or at least interested enough to remember it and check it out later. And you would know exactly what you would get out of the game. Unfortunately, we live in a world of doom scrolling. Even to pick the next game that you're going to play, you have to go through endless amount of options by scrolling or swiping, and this hits the small games the hardest. Because you'll hear about the AAA games somehow, but the small games have to be discovered. And having a one-sentence hook mitigates the risk of small games never being discovered. Factor 2. One polished core mechanic. I mean, this one is straightforward and advised often, but for a good reason. Getting Over It, for example, has a single input. You rotate the hammer moves the character, and that's it. Of course, this only works combined with a great level design. In Vampire Survivors, nothing is complex except the builds. It has a great system for combining weapons and skills. Your character just moves around and enemies mostly just walk towards you. In Exit 8, all you do is walk around and look around. You're observing the environment and how the environment changes. And all these games just work. This one core polished mechanic keeps the game engaging enough as long as the game lasts. Here's one part most people get wrong though. Polished doesn't mean polished everywhere. Meccha Chameleon, for example, is honestly a bit janky. It has rough edges all around, performance issues, lobbies break all the time and people complain about it. But the core loop, painting yourself and hiding, it's rock solid and really fun. Polish the core, not everything. This factor kills two risks at once, the scope creep and refounds. Because there's only one core thing to polish and done well, you can actually finish and ship the game. And because this one core thing is well done, players get what they're promised so they don't refound your game. Factor 3. Familiar base with a twist. Megabonk here is the perfect example. It is basically Vampire Survivors but in 3D. Actually, in the last years, tons of Vampire Survivors clones came out. It's a whole genre now called Bullet Heaven. But only a few succeeded, and Megabonk is one of them. It adds an extra dimension to the beloved base, and it's suddenly a fresh game. Another good example here is Meccha Chameleon. It's simply hide and seek, but you can paint on your character. It's a very clever twist on a game that all of us played on streets, at least the 90s kids. I wonder what other childhood games could be turned into a video game like this. Let me know in the comment if you have good ideas. The big benefit here is that it eliminates the onboarding costs. You don't need tutorials, you don't need YouTube explanations, you don't need wiki pages, you can just pick up the game, start playing and you are decent at it. This matters because games have to deliver the early feeling of success. You know, the dopamine rush of achieving something. And tutorials don't cut it, unfortunately. So this factor eliminates the risk of onboarding costs, losing the player's interest even before the fun starts. Factor 4. Strong styles, strong vibes. I have two completely opposite examples here. A short hike and Iron Lung. A short hike is a wholesome, cozy adventure with a low polypixel art style. You hike to the summit of a mountain at your own pace. The game never forces or rushes you. It is saturated, breezy, light-hearted, casual, chill, fun times. Iron Lung is the exact opposite. You're alone in a tiny submarine in the ocean of blood. You navigate using only instrument readings and there are no windows. You hear noises outside and the only thing between you and the horrors is a thin metal wall of the submarine. It's claustrophobic, dreadful and genuinely eerie. Both games have one distinct vibe and they really lean into it. The atmosphere, the mechanics, the visuals, the sounds, all are serving to create one deep feeling. And this is what really resonates with the player and creates an emotional experience. So this factor eliminates the risk of being generic. The games that doesn't lean into a feeling, a vibe 100% unfortunately fall flat and are easily forgotten. And finally, factor 5, shareability. There are different ways to achieve this. Bombanana and Meccha Chameleon are shareable by design since they are multiplayer games. Every player recruits more players. Meccha Chameleon especially is extra good here because it's perfect for streamers to play with their viewers. Iron Lung, Exit 8 and Getting Over It are streamable and clippable. Horror is maybe the best genre for streaming. I mean, jump scare reactions, anomaly spotting or watch along is quite fun. And rage games work kinda the same way. People love watching other people's rage. I mean, what can I say? And then there is being memorable and funny. Megabonk's on-screen chaos and absurd comedy achieves this very well with its funny monsters and funny item descriptions. There's an item called Thunder Mitts that hits on enemies so hard that it claps its cheeks and creates a lightning strike, like lol. And the risk we cancel here is the low marketing budget of small studios. Players market the game, and shareability what makes a game viral. Okay, so using these 5 factors, now we will create a framework. We will draw a pentagram, because I like pentagrams. And on each point of the pentagram we will place one factor. At the base we will play the first two factors, one sentence hook and one polished core mechanic, because these are must-haves. Can you interest the players in your game with one sentence? And is the core mechanic of your game interesting and well made? Because at the end of the day, regardless what, the game has to be interesting and fun to play. On the arms there will be familiar base with a twist and strong vibes. These are what makes the game easy to get into and recognizable. And on the top, as the cherry on the top, we will have shareability. This is what makes a game go viral. A successful small game doesn't need to check all the boxes, but the bottom two are non-negotiable. And every other factor layered on top just multiplies the chances. A successful game like Idols of Ash, for example, has a great hook and great one core polished mechanic. The giant centipede creates some vibes and the speedrunning community makes it somewhat shareable. But a mega hit like Meccha Chameleon checks all the boxes. The hook is there, the hiding and painting mechanic works really well and polished. It has strong, chaotic, funny vibes. It's a familiar base hide and seek with a twist, and it's highly shareable. Now I want to stress test this framework, but before we do that, there are two things that we need to discuss. The first one is pricing. The pricing is not really a design factor, so it doesn't go onto the pentagram, it's more of a business thing. But simply put, the small games can offer relatively cheap prices, and this justifies people to make purchase decisions based on the one sentence hook. And also, the fair prices lead to better reviews because people review things based on the value that they receive. And the second thing is luck. I mean, it's obvious, right? There's no denying it. Luck is a big factor in these kind of things. Iron Lung, for example, was picked up by Markiplier and it multiplied the success of the game. I mean, he even made a movie on this game, right? Like, you cannot plan on that. But here's the thing, you need these 5 factors, or at least the bottom 2, to be able to lift up by luck. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out. Okay, now a framework is only meaningful if we can actually use it or predict something with it, right? Do you remember the Bombanana from the previous list? That game has not came out yet. It had a very successful demo in the last Steam Next Fest, but it's planned to release in August 2026. So let's put this game into our pentagram and see and try to predict its success. One sentence hook. Defuse a bomb as 3 monkeys, 1 blind, 1 deaf, 1 mute. Amazing. Check. 1 polished core mechanic. I mean, the game didn't come out yet, but it got really highly positive feedbacks in the demo phase. I think around 700,000 people played the demo, so I imagine that they will really polish and do the bomb defusing mechanic and communication mechanic quite good. So I'll say check. Familiar base with a twist. I don't know if you guys know the game called Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes. Bombanana is basically the multiplayer version of it, where the communication between players are purposefully broken. So check. Strong vibes. Yeah, this is like 3 monkeys in a minivan. It's like slapstick, chaotic comedy. So check. And shareability, yeah, it's a 3 people friend slope, so I will give it a check as well. And the pricing, I mean, it didn't come out yet, so this is like an unknown factor, but we will see how it's going to be on release. But considering all these factors combining together, I personally believe this game will sell more than 1 million in its first month of release. You can hold me accountable and come back to this video once it releases and we see how it goes in September, okay? If it doesn't, it's also okay. We will be learning from this experience. Let me be honest with you all, because there might be one big problem with my analysis, and I'm sure some of you have spotted it already. Survivor bias. Because, you know, I looked at a very small sample size of 9 successful small games, and it could be that there are many games who fulfill these 5 factors but still failed. If you know any, Let me know in the comments. Eliminating this bias would require a rigorous research, and I don't think YouTube is the right medium to do this. But we can at least try and take a look at not only the successful games, but some of the underperformed games too. In 2026, roughly 60 to 70 games were released every day on Steam. Crazy. And this is mostly small games, right? Unfortunately, most of them did not perform very well. And I took a look at all the games that were released in the third week of April 2026, because that's when my birthday was. And one of the successful games that actually came out that week, coincidentally, was the Vampire Crawlers, the second game of Vampire Survivors. And it fits quite well in the pentagram. But let's take a look at one that maybe underperformed a little bit. Medieval Machines Builder was apparently another game that was released in the same week. And I don't know how much effort went into this game, but it has fewer than 100 reviews on Steam. It's mostly positive reviews, but I'm sure the developers were hoping for more sales. The game tries to combine multiple mechanics: gathering, refining, crafting, repairing, and sieging. But each of them seems limited in depth and novelty. The concept is nice, but there is no one-sentence hook. The visuals are good, but the vibe feels a little bit generic. And I mean, take a screenshot and compare it to any other medieval game, and then you will see that it will be really hard to distinguish which one is which. And a few big YouTubers has played it, but it didn't seem like it got a lot of traction. So let's reimagine the game using our pentagram framework. First, we cut out most of the mechanics. Let's remove gathering, refining, crafting, and even operating the machines. We are only left with maintaining. You play as the siege machine repairman, and the hook writes itself. Listen to this. The siege depends on the machines, and the machines depend on you. Sounds cool, right? And also, we are now left with only one mechanic to polish, the repairing. And for the vibes, imagine you're in a chaotic and dangerous battlefield. You're trying to repair the siege machines in extreme conditions. That's a vibe, right? And if you add co-op multiplayer or maybe competitive in between two armies, that would make it also instantly shareable. Maybe I should develop this game. In conclusion, even though luck plays a role in success, these 5 factors will hold true. So go ahead and use this framework, use the pentagram to find out the next great small game that you want to play or to develop. And in September we will see how it goes with Bombanana production. Meanwhile, if you find any great small games or if you develop them, please come back and let me know in the comments, because I would love to play them and check them out. Thank you so much for watching the video until its end. Please consider subscribing, that would really help, and like the video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.